It was supposed to be a quiet night. I had just moved into an old house on the outskirts of town. It was a place I had found for a decent price, and I was eager to settle in after the chaos of moving and getting everything set up. The house had an old charm to it, creaky floors, large windows, and an eerie quietness that filled the rooms. I loved it at first sight, though my friends warned me it looked like something out of a horror movie. "You're braver than I am," my best friend Sarah had joked when I told her I was moving in. "That place gives me the creeps." I laughed it off, of course. Old houses were supposed to have character, right? But on my first night there, that character began to show itself in ways I hadn't anticipated. It was a little after midnight when I first heard it, the creaking. It was faint at first, like the sound of the house settling, but then it grew louder and louder. I sat up in bed, my heartbeat quickening as the floorboards in the hallway outside my room began to creak with every step. The footsteps were slow and deliberate. Someone was walking through the house, but there was no one else here. I held my breath, straining to hear. The footsteps stopped outside my door. A cold chill ran through me, but I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination. I was in a new place. Maybe the sounds were just part of the house's charm. But then the handle of my bedroom door rattled. My heart skipped a beat. I couldn't move. I just lay there, frozen in fear, staring at the door. The rattling stopped, but the sense of something, or someone, being in the house didn't. I got up slowly, my legs shaky as I crept toward the door. My hand hovered over the knob, and I forced myself to turn it. Nothing. The hallway was empty, just the darkness stretching out before me. I checked every room in the house, making sure the windows were locked and the doors were secured. I couldn't find anything, but the sense of unease lingered. I decided it was just my nerves getting the best of me. I returned to my bed, pulled the covers tightly around me, and closed my eyes, trying to shake off the feeling that I wasn't alone. But sleep wouldn't come. The silence of the house felt suffocating. Every time I heard the wind rustling outside, I thought it was a whisper. Every time a door creaked, I thought it was someone sneaking through. And then, as I lay in bed, trying to force myself to sleep, I saw it. A figure, a tall, dark shape standing in the corner of my room. It was motionless, its outline indistinct, like it was made of shadows, blending in with the darkness. It stood there, watching me. I couldn't make out any details. No face, no features. Just the overwhelming presence of something wrong. I could feel its gaze on me, even though I couldn't see its eyes. I tried to scream, but my voice wouldn't come. I reached for my phone, but my hands were too numb to move. I could feel my heart hammering in my chest, louder than the silence around me. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, as if waiting. I don't know how long I stared at it, but eventually I mustered enough courage to turn on the lamp next to my bed. The light flooded the room, and when I looked back to the corner, the figure was gone. I leaped out of bed, searching the room with frantic eyes, but there was no trace of it. The room was empty. I rushed to the window and yanked it open, looking out into the darkness, but there was no one outside. I was alone, but the fear remained. The next morning, I tried to put it behind me. I chalked it up to being in a new house, adjusting to the unfamiliar sounds of old wood and strange creaks. I made coffee, unpacked some more boxes, and did my best to focus on settling in. That was until the evening, when it happened again. I had just gotten comfortable on the couch, reading a book and sipping my coffee, when I heard the footsteps again. This time they were louder, more distinct. Someone was walking through the hallway, slowly, deliberately. I immediately froze, the book slipping from my hands as I listened. I got up cautiously, walking toward the hallway, my heart racing again. The footsteps stopped outside my door. For a moment, everything was still. But then, there was a soft knock. Just one. I took a step back, my hand shaking as I gripped the doorframe. I didn't know what to do. Was someone playing a joke on me? Or was something else going on? I opened the door cautiously, my eyes scanning the hallway. There was nothing there. No one. Just the empty stretch of the hallway leading to the stairs. But then, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. On the floor, near the wall, was a small smear of dark, wet substance. I bent down to look closer, and my stomach churned. It was blood. Dried blood. I backed away from the hallway, my breath coming in short, shallow gasps. I couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. I quickly closed the door and locked it behind me. The next few hours passed in a blur. I didn't know what to do, but I knew one thing. I wasn't staying in that house another night. I packed a bag and tried to leave, but when I stepped outside, I froze. The yard, which had been empty when I arrived, now had a figure standing at the far end. A tall man in a dark coat just standing there, is facing the house. His features were still indistinct, just like the figure in my room the night before. I couldn't make out his face, but I could feel his presence, like something watching me, waiting. I ran back inside and locked all the doors. I didn't care if I was overreacting. I needed to get out. I grabbed my keys, rushed to my car, and sped away from the house. I didn't stop until I reached Sarah's apartment. "Are you okay?" she asked when I knocked on her door, visibly shaken. I couldn't bring myself to tell her everything, but I knew she could see it in my eyes. "You need to get out of that house," she said, her tone serious. "There's something wrong with it, something dark." I stayed with Sarah for the night, and when I went back to the house the next day to collect my things, the door was wide open. The house was silent, too quiet, as if it was waiting for me. I didn't know what had happened, but I couldn't stay there anymore. I never returned. I don't know if the man in the coat was real or just a figment of my imagination, but something in that house, something dark and ancient, was waiting, and I don't think I'll ever escape it.